Welcome to Watcha Watchin. Watcha Watchin is going to be a segment that we're going to do on a weekly basis, and we're going to talk about our favorite television shows, movies, why we like them, why we don't like them. And interestingly enough, the reason and the genesis of this segment is because every single time we are with friends, family,
strangers. Seriously, strangers.
Even at a dinner the other night, everyone at the table was talking about what they're binge watching.
And it's interesting because we're either going full speed.
We're only gonna have one drink.
Cheers.
Cheers. Or we are on the couch for the whole weekend binge watching.
Flat.
And we did that before COVID, and then it really accelerated during COVID. So we're gonna kick it off with
What you watching?
What You Watching. Last night we saw the finale of 1883.
Wow.
We really like Western, and we love Tim McGraw.
You do?
And we really have, since our very first date, we talked about owning a ranch.
Yes.
And we've always wanted some kind of a ranch. We get the privilege to go to our friend's ranch all the time.
Which you may have seen in one of the earlier videos.
We haven't quite gotten there yet, but we do want a ranch. And so one of the reasons I think we like this show is because it's about beautiful Montana.
Yeah. Being out on the prairie.
Being out on the prairie.
Yeah.
Because you and I would just be so good out there. I'm afraid of horses, and Zeus doesn't do manual labor.
But I can ride. We can both ride.
And I can do manual labor.
You can do manual labor. So 1883 was the prequel to Yellowstone. So if you are a Yellowstone fan or have not watched Yellowstone, it actually doesn't matter. You can actually watch 1883 without having watched Yellowstone. And it's an amazing, visually, incredibly shot show that brings all of these phenomenal characters together. Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. He's so good, you forget that he's Tim McGraw.
Totally.
And that's the thing that's so unique, and you know when somebody's doing an amazing job. Faith Hill, same thing. I was kind of not sold on Faith Hill at the beginning, but then as I started to watch the show more and more, I really started to fade away and think, wow, she's really good in this.
She gained her stride.
She did.
Like at first, I feel like people were really hard, me included, super harsh on her in the beginning. Like,
oh, Faith Hill, she's doing it because of Tim McGraw, and she's so beautiful, and she's stiff.
And then she plays this character that's stiff.
She's supposed to be.
And what I love is that they make her look like crap the whole time. I mean...
And she's so beautiful.
She's so beautiful, and it's out on the prairie. Costumes are authentic, the scenery is authentic.
Pretty cool, though, that Faith Hill and Tim McGraw are singing on their tour, and they're actually working together and doing this TV show. It's pretty cool. And I know one thing, working with your wife is pretty awesome. The other thing too was Sam Elliott, who is one of my favorite actors. He's just this perfect cowboy that you see, and you love this guy. He's got the perfect mustache. And he
Don't talk like this.
Do your impersonation.
I don't know, what was the old line?
You're so good at it.
I know, what was the old,
We're not gonna go back and kill him or something like that.
he just has this kind of grumpy drawl that I love.
I wonder
about him.
what he's like in real life. I've very rarely seen him without that mustache.
I saw him on a show with a mustache recently.
Really?
What was it in? I'll have to look it up and we'll put it in the comments below. But anyway, the show is actually created by a guy named Taylor Sheridan, who is incredibly talented. The guy's legit. I'm gonna have Stephanie talk about Taylor because she's done some homework on Taylor. And take it away.
No, I mean, Taylor Sheridan, I found out today that he was the sheriff on Sons of Anarchy. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah, and he and his wife were like starving. They weren't making any money. And he's like, I gotta get out of this because I'm not making any money as the sheriff on Sons of Anarchy. So he started writing a script. So he wrote Sicario and Hell or High Water, and then it just took off from there. And then we forgot to talk about, I think the lead character is the daughter Elsa.
Absolutely.
And her name is Isabel May, and she's been on Alexa and Katie, and she was on Young Sheldon.
Incredibly talented.
Very talented and beautiful, and she just did a great job. And I'm not going to do a spoiler, but most of the story focuses around her.
It's the Elsa story. One thing that I think is important to tell that people aren't aware of is this is all about the Dutton family that is moving to a place that they're going to finally settle in, which will be Montana,
Right.
where Yellowstone, fast forward, is actually now with the children and grandchildren actually from the
That's why
Dutton
they call
family.
it a prequel.
Yes.
And one of the reasons Zeus enjoyed the show so much is because he watches almost every episode twice. Because
Yeah.
I fall asleep. I can't start a show at 8:30 and be guaranteed that I will be awake till 9:30 because my body stops at 9:30. That's
Right.
the big joke with all my friends. Come over to my house, but please leave by 9:30. Zeus used to come over to my house with my parents, and we'd all have dinner, and we'd all watch a movie, and then my whole family would fall asleep, and Zeus would let himself out.
Yeah.
And our whole family would go, "Oh no, we did it again."
Everyone would be snoring and asleep, and I'd be looking at the TV with the test pattern on it. It's like, okay, I'm leaving again.
And he's so nice about it. He's so
Yeah.
nice.
So I think for the empty nester seal of approval on Watcha Watchin,
We should
a
do
bird in the
sofa.
nest or a bird out of the
It's
nest?
worth laying on the sofa for.
Okay, that's cute. I like that.
Does it pass the binge sofa test?
Is it lazy boy
Is it lazy?
worthy?
Yeah, is it lazy boy worthy?
Lazy boy worthy.
That's a good idea.
I like
I
that.
give it a lazy boy.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna
I
do
give
the
it-
lazy boy.
I give it 4 lazy boys.
One thing too on the Taylor Sheridan thing, I have so much respect for people that can create shows, create films, write, direct. It's so incredible, and that's just a passion that I have for that space in the industry. So anyway, I'll give it 4.5.
How do you have a half a lazy boy?
I'm gonna do an ottoman. Lazy boy and an ottoman. That's 4.5. No, I think
yeah, well, that was my
I
question.
recommend it. You recommend it.
I recommend it, but there's going to be shows we talk about that I absolutely will give 5 to. So I'm going to give this a 4
Yeah. Okay.
because of the vest. I don't like the vest.
Freaking best. And you know what?
And there's only 1 season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have a hard time finding us giving anything to lazy boys because we are not that discerning.
No, we are. And we're going to be more discerning on this because we're Watcha Watchin', and we're going to be Watcha Watchin' every week.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us
Thanks.
for an episode of Watcha Watchin'. If you have something that you absolutely want us to talk about, put it in the
Comments or DM us.
after you've liked and subscribed us. But yeah, put it in there and we'll talk about it because one of our greatest, funnest things to do with our friends is talk about what we're watching.
I think one of the other things that we're going to try and do also is start creating a list that you'll be able to view and add your Watcha Watchin' items to, and then that way we can talk about it. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing this on a weekly basis. So thanks for Watcha Watchin'.
What you watching? See you next week.
Have fun.